What's up, YouTube fans? So what I want to talk about in this video, right, is how when it comes to explaining the origin of life on Earth, right, which is something there's currently a field of science dedicated towards investigating, right? When it comes to that, we actually don't need to come up with a plausible scenario at all. It's totally reasonable for us to come up with an extremely implausible scenario, like this happens to happen in the right way by random chance, and this also does, and this also, and so many things aligning in the right way by chance. Even if it's like something that's a chance of like 1 divided by 10 to the power of a trillion squared, it still will be a reasonable explanation. And why is that? Well, the cosmos is really big and really old, potentially infinite, right? And we only know of one instance within the cosmos of life coming to exist, right? Now, it may be that life is spread out all across the cosmos, that, you know, a large percentage of planets have life on them, but as far as we know, that's not the case, right? We only know of one instance of life coming about, right? Because all life on Earth most likely traces back to one single common ancestor species, right? And we haven't yet discovered life anywhere else, right? And even if it's only a very like extremely rare thing for life to come about, that only comes about under like extremely remote circumstances where so many things have to align in the right way, it still wouldn't be a coincidence at all that we find ourselves here where life did come about, because the fact that we are aware of our own existence is because of our brain and sensory organs, right? That's the whole reason that we perceive the world around us and understand it. And our brain and sensory organs themselves came about as a result of evolutionary processes, which we would not expect to occur anywhere where there is no life. And so therefore, most likely anywhere in the cosmos where there's no life, there's nothing with brain or sensory organs or anything analogous, and therefore nothing conscious, nothing with awareness, right? And so therefore, it wouldn't at all be a statistical unlikelihood that we find ourselves here, right? Even if it is an extremely remote, extremely rare circumstances, right? And so what you guys got to understand, right, is that something which is highly improbable to happen at any particular time, given enough times to occur, it isn't improbable, right? So take like a deck of cards, right? Shuffling it in any particular arrangement by chance is astronomically improbable, right? Like the chances are something like 1 divided by 10 to the power of 28, right? To shuffle a deck of cards into any particular arrangement by chance, right? But if you were to shuffle a deck of cards enough times, like 1 in 10, if you were to shuffle a deck of cards like 10 to the power of 28 times, right? Or, you know, even much more times than that, then eventually it will get to the point where we would expect for that particular arrangement of the deck of cards to happen just by chance, right? Because the more opportunities there are for something to happen, the more likely it is to happen, right? So long as it's possible to happen, right? And so therefore, we don't really, unless you're trying to prove that, you know, there's lots of life out there in the observable universe, right, and that we're going to discover aliens, then that's one thing if you're trying to prove that, right? But if you're only trying to explain the origin of life on Earth, right, we really don't need to come up with a scenario that would be plausible to happen all the time. We don't have to come up with a scenario that will be likely to be repeated anywhere in the observable universe. It's totally reasonable to come up with an extremely remote scenario, right? Because this is something that only had to occur once within the entirety of a cosmos that is potentially infinite, right? Infinite in size, infinite in time. All right, that's all for now. See you guys.